Welcome back, everyone. It's David. Super Bowl 55 is in 2 weeks, but it can't come fast enough. After the Chiefs and Buccaneers prevailed in their championship games, I think we can all guess what all the storylines will be about. The Buccaneers' fearsome D-line, anchored by JPP and Shaquille Barrett. The game-breaking speed of Chiefs wideouts Tyreek Hill and Mecole Hardman. Or maybe the ascendant play of Devin White. Who are we kidding? It's going to be nothing but Brady versus Mahomes 24/7 for the next 2 weeks. That's not a bad thing, but there are plenty of storylines to watch beyond the two QBs. These two teams are peaking at the right time, as we'll highlight what went right for the Buccaneers and Chiefs, as well as what went wrong for the Bills and Packers. We're going to break it all down, and if you like what you see here, be sure to subscribe and follow Lingo Sports on Instagram. So let's start off in the AFC. What went wrong for the Bills? After not trailing in the second half since Week 10, and after getting off to a quick start at Arrowhead Stadium, the game unraveled for the Bills, and quickly. It seemed like once the Chiefs' offense got rolling and once Mecole Hardman got his confidence back after that muffed punt, the Bills' defense looked like a deer in headlights. It's no secret that they don't have the weapons to match Kansas City. No one does. But with their running backs being as ineffective as they have been all season, that's a clear issue that needs addressing this offseason. What did them in the most, however, was Sean McDermott's vanilla play calling. Despite what the scoreline may suggest, their offense wasn't an issue. They moved the ball up the field very well and got into the red zone quite frequently. Their biggest issue was execution once they got there. When you're trailing by double digits and get the ball down to the 2 and 8 yard line, you cannot kick field goals. Period. You're already down by 2 possessions. What do you have to gain by cutting it to 2 possessions? Do you really expect to be able to hold the Chiefs' offense to 3 points, especially when all evidence prior to that suggests you can't? Even if you don't score both times, at least you start the Chiefs off deep in their own end. Bills fans didn't watch their team come this far just to kick field goals in a pressure situation. It was gutless coaching by Sean McDermott. He tried to own up to it afterwards, saying he would have went for maybe one of them. But that's a half measure. And what did Mike from Breaking Bad say? No more half measures. It's unlikely the result would have changed, even if they had scored touchdowns on both of those 4th down attempts. The Chiefs executed their game plan to perfection, and it looked like no one was going to stop them on their day. And, to their defense's credit, they pressured Allen all game, getting 4 sacks on him. This was a setback, and it may take them a couple of tries before they can finally break through against the Chiefs, but the Bills will be back. It's hard to think of what didn't go right for the Chiefs. Even their most glaring mistake, that muffed punt by Hardman, was undone in a hurry when Mahomes found him on their first touchdown drive of the game. That gave them the confidence to then burn the Bills on a 50-yard end around to set up their next score. But as far as the Chiefs' weapons go, there was no stopping Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. They're as dynamic of a duo as they come, and in this game they both topped 100 yards. The play of the game from either of them came on this ridiculous run by Hill. Following the Bills' second embarrassing decision to kick a field goal, Hill removed any thoughts of a comeback by breaking through all tacklers like he was the greased-up deaf guy, and ended up running for 70 yards. For Chiefs fans, it was an excuse to break out this soundbite again.
Help is on the way! Telling the fans, help is on the way!
Funnily enough, that quote came from the Chiefs meeting against the Bucs this season, when he racked up a whopping 269 yards and 3 scores. Are we in for an encore? I wouldn't bet against it. With 3 appearances in the championship game before 26 and a chance to be the first team since the Patriots to repeat, Chiefs fans are eager to anoint Mahomes as the next GOAT in the sport. He won't have a better chance to state that claim than by beating Brady in a Super Bowl. For all you Star Wars fans, maybe the Super Bowl trophy is like the Darksaber. Mahomes has to win it from Brady in combat in order to officially unseat him and cement the Chiefs as the next great dynasty. You could also call this a matchup of Yoda versus Grogu. But even if they lose, all their core pieces are locked up for the next few years, while Mahomes is sticking around until at least 2032. It'll be hard to envision any AFC team stopping them from getting to the Super Bowl for a while now. Over to the NFC Championship. What went wrong for the Packers? In a word, a lot. All anyone's talking about in the wake of this is the Packers' decision to kick a field goal with 2 minutes left, as well as the holding penalty. But they had plenty of chances to get out in front of the Bucs beforehand that the game shouldn't have come down to those 2 things. For Packers fans, they have an easy scapegoat for this loss. Kevin King. Just like the new Bernie Sanders meme, he showed up time and time again, and for all the wrong reasons. On Brady's first touchdown to Evans, he looked like me when I pressed the block button 1 second too early on 2K. I mean, he was nowhere near the ball. On Fournette's incredible touchdown run, he was the last line of defense between him and the end zone. And that went exactly as you expected. It's hard to blame King on this play since no one was going to stop him from scoring there. And on their last CD of the first half, it looked like King's controller died on him as he was chasing Scotty Miller. The coverage itself was questionable from Mike Pettin. They guarded the middle of the field and left King on an island with Miller. And the way King was playing Miller, he was practically begging him to beat him along the sidelines. And then, of course, there was that questionable holding call at the end. Did the flag come in too late? Yes. Did the refs decide the game on that flag after swallowing their whistles throughout the first half? Also yes. Was it a penalty, though? Absolutely. Packers fans can cry flop all they want, but at the end of the day, that's the most HD shit I've ever seen. That's 4K. His opposite corner, Jair Alexander, who didn't allow any catches and picked off Brady twice, had to have been the most pissed off at King's effort.
Fight back, nigga! Fight back, nigga! Fight back! Fight back!
The other key difference in this game was how the two teams capitalized on turnovers. The Buccaneers turned an interception and a fumble into 2 touchdowns. The Packers had 3 straight interceptions in the second half, but after scoring on the first one, they went 3 and out on the next 2. That can't happen. And what happened on their next possession? That dreaded 4th down field goal. When Rodgers was asked about it post-game, he looked like he was about to murder someone.
Aaron, did you agree with the decision to kick it there on 4th down?
Well, I didn't have a decision on that one. Yeah, that wasn't my decision.
That said, Rodgers isn't absolved of blame since he had a wide open field on 3rd down to simply run it in. Twitter shouldn't be telling Rodgers how to play quarterback, but that seemed clear as day. Some people have started to float the idea that Rodgers might move on from Green Bay. If he does, the Packers have no one to blame for this loss, and for the fact that they could only deliver him 1 Super Bowl title over 16 seasons, but themselves. What went right for the Buccaneers is what they've been doing well all season, generating consistent pressure on defense, turning their turnovers into touchdowns, using the run game to devastating effect, and Brady making full use of his wide array of receivers. Things got a little hairy in the second half when they nearly let an 18-point lead slip away and Brady threw 3 picks in a row. But with his defense playing lights out, he knew he could count on them to do damage control on those poured throws. And when it was time for Brady to close out the game, he did what he always does. No doubt Patriots fans all over shed a single tear when they saw him connect with Gronk late in the 4th quarter. For as much as the Packers deserve blame for not capitalizing on their chances, the Bucs deserve an equal amount of credit for stopping them in their tracks. Bruce Arians deserves as much praise for going for it on 4th down at the end of the first half as LaFleur deserves criticism for kicking that field goal. To wit, Aaron Rodgers has thrown 6 interceptions all season. 3 of them came against the Buccaneers. The defensive line also sacked him 5 times as they feasted on Packers O-line that was missing David Bakhtiari. That said, stopping the Chiefs' offense will be an entirely different beast. Some may have predicted a Bucs win based on their regular season meeting. So if their regular season meeting against the Chiefs is any indication, yeah, they're in trouble. That said, give credit to Tony Romo for calling this Super Bowl meeting after that game.
I think there's a better than good chance. I don't know what even that percentage is that these two are going to be here in Tampa.
Wow.
However, while this Super Bowl is unique in a lot of ways, we saw a very similar one play out 5 years ago. Peyton Manning's Broncos were led by their defense and Von Miller's transcendent play in the playoffs. They won the day again against a seemingly unstoppable Carolina Panthers offense that was 15-1 and had the league's MVP in Cam Newton by limiting them to 10 points and ensuring that Manning would ride off into the sunset with another Super Bowl. There's no doubt the Bucs will study that game intently, thinking they can do the same. For Brady, he has a chance to do something that no self-proclaimed GOAT has ever done and win a championship on a different team towards the end of his career. Wayne Gretzky didn't win with the Rangers, Michael Jordan didn't win with the Wizards, Joe Montana didn't win with the Chiefs. This type of thing isn't supposed to happen, but Brady is inevitable, and he can fulfill his destiny as the goatiest of all GOATs with his 7th ring. Love him or hate him, you simply can't deny any of his career accomplishments.